Hey guys, it's Classical Hill here, and in this game, I'm going to show you how I won a nearly impossible game with an 8k gold deficit. Stick around and watch it till the end. This is a game specifically I wanted to show you guys because in this game, I get a lead and the rest of my team is in a struggling position. A lot of the times, I have people asking me, saying like, how do I close out games if I'm ahead but my team is struggling and I'm playing carry Vi? Like, I can't just go in because I'll die very easily. And this game is going to demonstrate just how to do that. So far in this game, I just did 3 camp clear, and I noticed something happening bot side, so I'm looking over to go bot side. Looks like a fight is breaking out. I do a short Q auto E. The Poppy gets CC'd. Ashe flashes away, so I chase down the Poppy. I flash to connect my last auto attack and get the kill. She flashes. My Q comes back up and I secure the kill with Q auto. I'm really glad that I got the kill. I always like to have kills on myself rather than my teammates, especially when I'm playing carry Vi. Because with carry Vi, even if your team is behind, you can close out games solely on your own skillful play. So it seems that the Lee Sin has done a clear, doing buff Gromp, and he ganked bot lane while I did full clear of my bot side. Noticed something was happening bot lane, and then I ganked bot lane afterwards. So I reset. I buy myself 3 longswords. I didn't want to wait for the 50 gold to get a Dirk, simply because I want to keep tempo. I want to be on the map as fast as I can. I don't want to waste any time. Of course, time is the most important resource as a jungler. We see something happening here mid. Looks like our Cho'Gath support is roaming to mid lane. Gets a nice trade on the Ahri. I'm just continuing to clear my top side. You see the TP coming out from the Malphite. Lee Sin is mid lane, which is some good information there. So we know we don't really want to take any fights up here because, unless they're winning, of course, because of all of their team is up here. We have Lee Sin, we have the Malphite. Looks like Malphite gets into a fight with Kled, and Kled gets really low. I'm clearing this vision after I clear my top side. Lee Sin going for the gank mid lane because Katarina is low HP. In hindsight, me seeing Lee Sin here, I could have prepared myself for a counter gank mid, considering that Katarina was low HP. And unfortunately, it looks like my Cho'Gath is going to go down as well. Luckily, Xayah makes it here on time. However, Cho'Gath is still going to die. So here I am, just looking to see what they do if they try to attempt to do Dragon. I did see that Lee Sin got a little bit low on HP, so if he tries to do this, I can punish him for trying to take Dragon. The fight fizzles out, everyone goes back to the neutral positions that they can. I go back to clearing my camps. Nothing special happens. Just going to fix the screen there. Looks like I'm looking for a lane gank here in this lane. I see Ashes trading with the Xayah. I stay out of Fog of War here, as you can see. You always want to approach from outside of Fog. So if they still commit on fighting, I can surprise them. I don't want to show them my position. If I show them my position, they're just going to run away, and then I get nothing from this. Potentially, I'm looking to get pressure bot lane, then I can do this dragon here. So yes, when you're attempting lane ganks, you never want to show. That's the key. You want to make sure that you stay hidden in the fog, the enemy can't see you, and then you surprise them with your full combo. And hopefully your burst can turn around the fight really easily and really nicely. So my team is trying their best to bait them in. It looks like Poppy commits really heavily. She's got no more cooldowns here. Well, she's silenced for now. I Q, but I miss because she still has her E to, and she jumps into the minion here. But unluckily for her, she's actually surrounded by minions and stuck. She can't move. She's trying to click to get out, but her entire champion model is surrounded by minions. So we just collapse on her and she's dead. And this is all because of the fact that she didn't see me here. She forced herself in a bad position using her E. And luckily, this is a very, very small percent chance that this even happens. But because of how Poppy's E works, she's managed to get herself stuck. And we get the kill here. And now this is the perfect amount of pressure that we would need to do a dragon here. However, I'm fishing for more. And look at that. I land the Q onto the Ashe. She does not have flash, so she can't really avoid this. She doesn't have any movement options. This lead that I'm getting here all comes from this mindset of thinking. After I get something done, what more can I get? I see the HP of Ashe, and I know that all I need to do to kill her is 1 Q. 1 Q, 1 auto, and she's dead. I try to get outside tower range. If Lee Sin is here, I'm dead. If not, then we can probably get some platings and even go for this dragon afterwards. Let's see what happens. I managed to get out. Poppy's pinging on the way there to dragon. I get the health plant. I see them rotating over. I see that I lose pressure mid lane. I can no longer do dragon anymore. Although it looks like a good dragon from a little bit like 10 seconds ago, now the situation has changed. I have to change what I'm going to do. I cannot stick to the same plan. Every time a new information presents itself, I have to be readjusting my decisions. So here, me and Cho'Gath know that this is not warded, so we're standing in this bush waiting for someone to face check us. Cho'Gath has great setup. She gets silent, she can't move, and we pick her off really nicely. So even though Lee Sin just applied a lot of pressure by attacking mid lane and killing Katarina, me and my Cho'Gath, knowing that we have setup together, he has a great silence, he has his Q, and I have anyone who face checks Vi is just taking a lot of damage, a lot of burst damage, and it just managed to be that the CC and the damage together was enough to actually pick out this Poppy that was looking for vision, perhaps to do this dragon. In this level of play, this is Diamond 2 Elo, both junglers are trying to get pressure established so that they can safely take this dragon. That is why fights are breaking out left, right, and center. It's not because we're just trying to get kills randomly. There's serious intent behind our ganks and our pressure that we're applying. We want to make sure that there's enough pressure so that we can gauge in our minds, oh, this is an 80% chance that this dragon goes well. Or if we can even get an uncontested dragon, that is the purpose behind why we're trying to gank, why we're trying to apply pressure on this side of the map. In some matchups, you're not going to be able to pressure some sides of the map at all, simply because the enemy team, with their champions, just beat your team in that skirmish. However, in this setup with the Cho'Gath and Vi, it's very powerful, which means like early pressure in the bot lane is going to be happening. Same on the enemy's team, like they have the Poppy and they have Ashe with the slow. Lots of utility for Lee Sin to do a lot of fights. That's why you find this game, it's been pretty scrappy in the bot lane thus far. And again, I'm pathing towards the bot lane, clearing my clogs, getting level 6, now looking for how I can apply my level 6 again. Am I going to look for another lane gank? I'm just staying out of vision, right? I'm staying out of vision, waiting for something to happen. Maybe a fight breaks out. If they back off, I can go to the lane and enter this bush. If they approach, I can stay behind Fog of War. They don't see me. Even though it looks like there's no one here, they don't see me. Even if Poppy counters me with her W, she won't have time to react to my Q coming outside of Fog of War. That's why this fight is very, very important here. It looks like Lee Sin eventually gives up on going for this dragon here and wants to apply pressure top lane with his winning top lane in the winning matchup Malphite versus Kled, so he can get this Rift Herald. He's given up on the dragon, seeing that I'm getting successful pressure and neutralizing his efforts of getting pressure mid lane for dragon. So he's making a good play. In his mind, he thinks, oh, if they're going to play for dragon, okay, I'll just play for top side. But keep in mind, when you're doing these types of setups for dragon, consider going for the lane gank. Sometimes the lane gank won't work because the enemy bot lane will actually abandon their wave and go straight for dragon pressure. If that happens, you're in a tough situation because now you're going to be crossing over minions coming from your lane gank, say from this bush, and the enemy team's going to see where you're coming from. And as carry Vi, the best thing you can do is hide from vision. So she she dodges my Q that I was setting up to land by pushing into the Xayah. But now from this position, it's too late for the enemy team. I Q to get in range and I ult. I know I can ult even though I don't have it's not good practice, it's not a good habit to start with your R first or even Q and then R, because once you use R, you don't have anything else to follow. However, I do have setup with my Cho'Gath, so if I know that if I can ult, my Cho'Gath can also follow up with his Q and we can get the kill. She used both sums here. She uses flash and both sums. Had Cho'Gath just waited for my R to connect, she would actually have died there. But he was a little impatient and he used his Q a little bit earlier. However, we can't change that. We set up the play for him and he didn't accomplish what he needed to do. We still get both of Ashe's sums, meaning that bot lane is prepped for another gank 5 minutes into the future. However, all of this action in the bot lane gives Katarina a window of opportunity. She enters the fight. Ahri neutralizes her roam by following her roam. But as everyone goes back to neutral stages, we are the ones that come out on top with the pressure, so we get to get the dragon. Had we not get this dragon from all this play, it would all have been for nothing. The Cho'Gath is zoning the Poppy. I quickly kill the dragon first, and then deal with the Poppy after. She's just serving as a distraction to try to delay this dragon of being taken, or maybe putting us in a bad position, setting up her team to get kills on us. I don't really agree with her play, considering I had level 6. She's like, it's dangerous for her to fight me and Cho'Gath together just because of the synergy that Cho'Gath and I have. Seeing the success with Cho'Gath Vi, it might even be pretty viable to go for like a duo. If I find a Cho'Gath, man, like it'd be really nice because he could always give me pressure and give me setup in the bot lane with his Q and his silence. It's pretty strong, this pick here. I never really considered that, but I'm just adapting to how he's playing. He's adapting to how I'm playing, and it's working together nicely so far. If me and Cho'Gath are together anywhere, we're usually having a huge impact with our abilities. Now, after we get the dragon, we just continue to clear it to our top side, clearing all our camps, being efficient. We want to get as much gold as we can, and as you can see, I've amassed a pretty huge lead, and the enemy team is behind in gold.
Light on my feet.
Now, the downside of being ahead as a jungler is, even though you get ahead, it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it much easier to get kills. You may think like, what do you mean? Like, you're ahead, you have lots of damage now, like you have your item. The thing is, jungle is dependent on the setup of your lanes. So if your lanes aren't able to give you pressure, then you can't really do anything with the gold that you amass. That's the downside of a carry jungler, because if they're the ones taking kills, it doesn't make it too much easier. It's still not the most ideal position to be in to continue snowballing your lead. It's actually better to have it on another carry or a top lane front line that can also set up for you. It looks like the enemy top laner commits to a dive onto their bot lane, abandoning his wave top side. So since they have a numbers advantage, I can't really do anything about this. However, Kled does come in with an ulti, so maybe we can play off of what he's doing. Me and Katarina are pretty strong together. I'm just coming in looking to land Q. I don't quite get in range. However, Kled's play does result in us killing Ashe. Remember, we burned Ashe's sums earlier. I don't know if my team knew that, but I knew that, so I knew that there's a high probability of us coming out with a winning fight there, especially considering Kled is very nice for chasing down people, and Katarina is very nice on following up on CC. And here I just go back to clearing. There's nothing I could really do, like no high percentage plays that I can see at the moment. We do see Lee Sin top side, so there is a potential for invading into his bottom side because it's going to take him a while to get here to counteract whatever play I try to go for. It's a window of opportunity. Let's take a moment and actually just look and see what would happen if we were in a position like over here. Just for a second. I wanted to see if I had gone for this invade, knowing that Lee Sin's top side, what would happen. So I would make it about this far. And if I was here, I would probably get spotted by this ward. Or if I try to go for Gromp, I would get spotted by this control ward. It could be potential for a dive because Poppy was in base. However, I wasn't tracking Poppy's base timer there. But yeah, this definitely looks like a potential dive angle. So I would actually have gone for this dive had I known this information. So what can I learn for this? From this in just looking at this in the replay, what information, how could I have gotten the fact that Poppy was recalling and I could have gone for this dive? Well, one, the biggest factor is the Lee Sin we saw on topside. That's why I even had the idea to check for this. Let's go back and see when Poppy based. So had I been looking, I would saw that Poppy was low HP. She's out of vision now. And Ashe is alone. And she's conceding the wave. Okay, so there's a few indicators here. Poppy's HP. Lee Sin top lane. Ashe behavior backing off. Had I compiled that information together, I would have saw that there is a potential dive here, considering the fact that Poppy was low HP and now she's not showing. I could thus conclude that she recalled, and I could have gone for a dive play with my Cho'Gath. So had I been right here, instead of my bot lane backing off, they would have walked up on this wave that's about to crash on your tower, and we could have killed the Ashe together with no retaliation from the enemy team. Malphite's top, Lee Sin's top, Poppy is coming outside of base, and Ahri is out of position on the ward over here. However, it's quite difficult to even spot that little gap and little error going for that play there. I did see the Lee Sin, and that's what made me consider it. Unfortunately, I didn't see the Poppy with low HP and seeing her recall. This is the biggest mistake I make in this game. I get baited into fighting here with Bukled, and remember how I said, even though I'm ahead in kills, it doesn't make it really any easier to gank. What depends on how well a gank works is the setup that my top laner provides. However, he's very low HP, so he couldn't risk himself face checking and had to wait for me. Malphite gets a nice ulti on both of us, and we both go down.
Red team double kill.
I should have not died here, because we saw Lee Sin here a little while ago. So because I don't know where he is, I can't really commit to a play here. And that's why I died here and gave away my shutdown, which is probably the biggest mistake of this game. The fact that I die with the shutdown onto the Lee Sin, who's also playing very well, means that now the game is much harder, because the gold is carried onto one person. In League of Legends, the way the Grim works is it's a lot easier for a person to carry with the gold on one person on the team, rather than it spread out on multiple people. So since Lee Sin is the one getting all of the gold, he has the most opportunity to carry in this game, especially giving him that shutdown. That was a really big mistake. I should have not been looking for any top lane plays, considering Lee Sin's top side is stronger than mine, just facing the matchup Kled into Malphite. What I should have been doing is just protecting my bot lane and playing for my winning lane, so I wouldn't give away a shutdown at all, or risk giving away a shutdown. Again, looking for the lane gank. So now we have pressure here. If the enemy team walks up, I can surprise them. They don't see me. This is all in the dark. They don't see anything here. I want to set up pressure for the dragon. I don't want to just start dragging without having any information. So I'm looking for this gank here. However, we see the Poppy, we see the Ashe, and they're playing very safe, very conservative. We're hoping that they walk over into us, into Fog. I start charging Q, I think. I see Poppy pass, but I don't see the Ashe pass. I was hoping that Ashe would be like, oh, Poppy is walking this way, so therefore it's safe to walk that way. However, Ashe does the smart thing of taking the safe route and just standing back here. Now she's grouping with her team, staying in between her Lee Sin and her Poppy, and she kept herself safe from our our dangerous threat play over here. Remember, I mentioned a little bit earlier how the downside of lane ganking is this exact situation where the enemy bot lane sacrifices a wave, and for me to get to the fight now, I have to cross over vision, and now they see where I am. They see my angle of approach. We're paying, missing. We see Poppy clearing vision over here. The priority targets are staying out of vision, and Poppy is face checking everything. I'm hoping that Ashe shows up here still, and then she finally shows up here, and they've already started the dragon. So now they have control, and before I can even make a move, Malphite's engaging on us. I try to force a play onto the Ashe, and I die.
Rampage. Red team double kill.
Sweet. Feel this.
Red team triple kill.
Crap.
Red team quadra kill.
And remember what I said about gold on one person is better than it spread out? Lee Sin gets all of the kills of this fight. Now we're in a 4k gold deficit where Lee Sin has all of the gold on him, which is a big issue for us. So I had the idea of trying to go for this play, however it got nullified considering the safety of Ashe's pathing. Here I'm just clearing up to my top camps towards the Herald. We have pressure on the Herald, so we're going for this. We do see the rotation of Lee Sin coming over. However, it's kind of risky for him to go for this because he doesn't have his team. Malphite's here. I'm charging my Q to get ready to combo the Rift. Then I smite auto the eye to make sure that I get it. Cloud picks up the eye. I pretty much peace out. I'm like, we got the objective. We don't need to stay. We don't need to fight. My team stays. I try to get the shutdown onto the Lee Sin here. I have to use my mechanics perfectly to get the kill. And I do get the kill. And I do survive. Luckily. So my entire team dies for this Herald. And I get away. Luckily I was paying attention. And I saw that the enemy team was collapsing. So I had to make sure I didn't die. I cannot be dying a third time. I died twice this game. And this game, for me to win, requires me to play Neo perfectly. The fact that I got this shutdown even makes it possible for me to carry this game. Start clearing vision in our bot side jungle. I think I channeled my recall, but I have a little bit more gold I need in order to get an item. So I stay, collect those 2 camps, get my power spike, and then continue to go back into my jungle. Clyde drops Rift mid lane. We grab the turret. I start pathing towards top, seeing as they're fighting. I see Malphite is very low HP, and I see 2 people bot lane, so I'm like, okay, I can go for a play here. Lee Sin flashes. We're chasing the Lee Sin. He gets pulled. If I can land Q on him, boom, I get another shutdown. If you go back, I did make a mistake in this play. I did make a mistake here. Malphite walks up, right? Kled ults. Lee Sin takes it. And my theory is that this guy's going to get away with, I don't know. I don't know how he would get away, but my fear is that he would escape with 1 HP. So I ult onto him, and then I lose all of my gap closers, which is a mistake for me. What I could have done was just let Kled finish off the Malphite himself, and I chase down the Lee Sin with my ultimate. That would have been a much better play. Now I put myself all the way over here in this position, making it much harder for me to catch the Lee Sin. However, Kled does carry the weight here, and he lands his Q and he lands his E, so he has his E right there. He waits for his Q cooldown, he lands the Q, and then we follow up and we can kill him. he flashes, he flubs his flash. If he didn't flub his flash here, then we probably wouldn't even have caught him.
Shut down.
And that's just the power of the blue smite. The blue smite bush here that I touch allow me to get in range to hit this Q, and thus resulting in that shutdown. Otherwise, Lee Sin would have got his W back, probably jumped to something else. His red was up, so he could have Q'd to the red, jumped away, used a ward to jump away. Lee Sin has a lot of escape. Here, we killed their top laner and their jungler, and I'm positioning myself behind the enemy team that's pushing here, looking for some plays, looking for some kills. I make sure I miss the poppy. I tell my team, well, I think about this, and I'm like, okay, I don't need to go for the poppy because my team can finish her. So I go for the Ahri instead. Let's take a look at that again. So here, coming behind, I see the poppy. I know Ahri's down here, so I chase her instead. I flash onto her, using my flash aggressively, and I kill her. 2 kills top, 2 kills mid. The enemy is making mistakes. This is how we can come back into these games. The way that you're gonna win these games is not really by finding like plays on the enemy team. It's going to be looking for the mistakes, the missteps that they make. So when we saw 2 people top lane and 2 people bot lane, that guaranteed I can go for this play. When we killed them here, the fact that they stayed over here was another mistake we had to punish. So I came and punished them for overstaying here, and I flanked behind them. Now I'm setting up for this dragon here. We have the lane pushed in. We have mid lane about to crash in the middle here. We're 4 here. We know that Ahri is coming out of base right now. We don't know where Malphite is yet. And since we don't have pressure here, it's too risky to just go in and not know what's going on. So I'm like, okay, if they're gonna go for dragon, let's set up and have some tempo and prepare for Baron. Now this is a prime example of knowing your limits on your champion. I know that if I can land a Q onto a primary target, that we can win the fight. So I positioned myself in a way where I can react off of this ward that was placed a little bit earlier by the Cho'Gath on my team. As they try to rotate through Dragon, I realize there's an opportunity here. A very small one, but there is an opportunity. So I wait by this raptor wall, so they can't see me, and use this vision to set up a Q and do a perfect combo into their carry and set up a fight that we can win.
Rampage.
We kill the Ashe, we kill the Poppy, I escape. My team follow up with the play.
Red team double kill.
The enemy Lee Sin ends up killing my 2 teammates. However, now we kill Poppy and Ashe, the enemy team can't do Baron, even though they're in a winning position. Here I saw Lee Sin charge Q, so I knew if he Qs on, I can cancel the Q and we can start a good fight together. Look at how I play this fight really very, very carefully. Most people would be like, you're too low HP, you can't do this fight. However, I understand my champion. The way Vi works with Eclipse, her blast shield will go off, and I'll get the Eclipse shield, which is 220. So I don't really just have 600 HP here. I have a 278 shield plus a 220 shield. So Lee Sin doesn't, I know he doesn't have much because he used it in the fight over here. He can't just simply kill me, one-shot me. He's not that type of champion. So I know as long as I land my Q and I hit him, I can get this shield and I'll be able to fight with Kled. That's why I was prepping for my Q right here with the Kled to see if Lee Sin would follow onto him and I could cancel his Q and start off the 2v1 in a positive way. This is how you must take fights as Vi. You always want to consider these angles of attack that you can take from out of Fog of War. Had Lee Sin committed out of Fog of War, looking at his perspective, he could have gotten caught here. He was smart enough to kite back to his team, even though his Malphite's low HP, because he knows that I am a threat. He's respecting my presence here. A lot of lower elo junglers would have been, oh, I'm strong, Clyde is almost low. Vi is low. I can just take the fight. However, he doesn't risk going for this fight. He'd rather just take the guaranteed fight with my team and not die and throw my lead again. I've already killed him twice now. He doesn't want to die a third time, just like I've only died twice, right? So, I queue into the bush. He does not have vision in here. I'm still playing with vision. I can still set up another queue if Lee Sin decides to go back and commit. I just need to wait 4 seconds and my queue will be back up. So I'm waiting for Kled to kite the fight towards me. He takes the Q. I have my Q ready to cancel his Q. I did miss it, unfortunately. However, this is still a decent fight for us to take, because Kled can always build up his courage, get his HP back, and I have a massive shield that Lee Sin can't just kill me through. I considered queuing back in, but when we see the RE charm and we see the Malphite, that signals to me it's time to disengage, and let's just leave the fight here. He tries to follow. Me and Kled retreat. Our team respawns. And we delay them from doing Baron for about a minute or two with all of this that has transpired. Me going for this play here onto the Ashe. Of course, now they have pressure on Baron. It's going to be very hard to walk into the pits because we have no vision. As Vi, you can't really, as carry Vi, you can't really just walk in to places that have no vision by yourself unless you know where other people are. Now I get stunned here, most likely because I'm on a ward. Let's take a look at that. I'm on the ward right here. Ashe pulls the trigger, ults me. The TP comes in from the Malphite, seeing that they have a slight advantage, seeing as I'm out of the fight for a little bit. I don't know where the rest of the enemy team is. We saw Ahri bot lane, but I'm assuming that Lee Sin is also here. We don't have enough information to actually take this fight and allow it to be favorable for us. So I'm waiting in the bush. If I need to run, I could just run. A Q out of E, Malphite. I do not commit onto him though. I just burst him down a little bit for some poke damage and then walk back. We see 2 people bot lane. Now I commit onto a fight. I missed the Q onto the Poppy, unfortunately. My Q gets stopped. We're looking to ult or fight the Malphite. He ults away, which is really good for us. I still have my R. I hold on to it because Poppy's not really the target I want to use it on. However, I'm thinking I could get a pick here if I use it here, so I'm just going to use it anyway since I see the fight is now over. I pick off the Poppy, and out of all of this, we get a slight advantage. Now, knowing your limits, I consistently do this no matter what position I'm in. If I can get a Q onto the AD carry, I know that I can start a very, very favorable fight for us. And see how I always use Fog of War. The enemy Ashe did not know that I was here. She should have known, considering I killed Poppy over here. She did a great job of avoiding me in the bot side of the map back when I tried to do this play. However, I'm punishing her now for her misstepping here. You understand how these plays I'm making are not because I'm forcefully making them. I'm taking what the enemy team gives me. If I see an opportunity, I take the window. I take the opportunity. But the way I can get those opportunities is by positioning myself in places where the enemy will walk into me. It's a game of cat and mouse. How deep can I go trying to find a pick onto the Ashe without dying? And how safe can they be without giving too much space and allowing me to get in a position where they're going to be vulnerable? I immediately stopwatch. And this is a reaction. Well, it's not a reaction. It's a prediction. Both Ashe and Malphite have Rs that can stop me very easily. They have CC. Now, why I stopwatch is to predict that CC. Say Malphite instantly ults here. Ashe instantly ult here. If I had been keeping a better track of their cooldowns, then I would not have needed to do this, or I would not have done this play. Cho'Gath misses his knock-up here, unfortunately. However, he does get the silence on the Malphite, and now we're together in a position where we can I can continue on. I charge up my Q here. Ashe is in Q range. I land the Q on her. I see danger now. I have to escape from this Lee Sin somehow. I end up committing, and I end up killing the Malphite. However, giving the shutdown onto the Lee Sin again. I wish I would have just queued over this wall, chased him back to my team. Then it would have given us a better chance of me surviving and potentially even getting a pick onto the Lee Sin. Now Lee Sin's gonna kill both me and Cho'Gath. So it ends up being a trade of 2 for 2. We kill, well, actually 3 for 2. We kill Malphite, Ahri, and Ashe. Lee Sin kills me and Cho'Gath. Kled and Xayah here, fighting the Lee Sin in my bot side jungle, or top side jungle.
Gotcha.
The Kled is doing his best at frontlining for our Kled.
Feathers fly.
So Xayah misplays a little bit. Had she have ulted back towards the Kled, she actually would have killed the Kled, the Lee Sin with Kled, and most likely would have survived after the fact too. However, she was trying to dodge the damage from Q on the Lee Sin, resonating kick. However, she was too late in doing so and she ends up dead. Nothing we can really do about that. Lee Sin ends up taking off our Kled. I'm coming out of respawn. This game, I get my GA now. I'm very strong. I looked for some pop damage onto the Poppy. I'm trying to position myself in a way where I can look for damage onto targets. I see the Poppy here, recalling. I ult in. I have GA, so I go for a play like this. The reason why I went for the play is I thought I was safer than I was, thinking that my team was nearby. However, my team was not ready for my play over here, so they had to react to it rather than attack with me. And that is why I suffer here. I went for the play only because I knew I had GA, and if I died, I could resurrect and continue fighting. However, my Xayah's not here, reducing the chance of that happening, and I end up dropping.
Legendary.
We lose this fight. 4 people drop. And we only kill Ashe. We only have Ashe down. So they secure Baron with that fight. The Lee Sin is now 22-6. We're down 8k golds. And they're just about to get Baron. And then they secure Dragon not too long after. I'm doing everything I can, looking for all the opportunities to keep this game afloat and try to win.
Red team has slain Baron
I know that I scale harder than Lee Sin. I know that if I get my last item, I'll be stronger than him. And even though he popped my GA, the point of this build is the fact that my GA is on a really short cooldown because of my Ingenious Hunter rune. This is why it's you can pull out games and pull out wins with this build very nicely. It's not like other assassin builds where you deal the damage, but there's no like survivability. With this build, you're allowed to go for dangerous plays because you have the GA and you disincentivize the enemy from killing you.
Light on my feet.
This is practice. You see this play that I made here, finding the pick on the Ahri? This is all intuition and practice. I'll show you that one more time. Ahri's pushing the bot lane. I position myself near her so I can potentially get a pick on her. I have flash up. I use the bush movement speed. I see her rotating. She's walking in a straight line, so she doesn't quite notice me yet. Let's go and take a look at when she actually sees me come from out of fog of vision. Fog of war. Let's fast forward a little bit. She's here. She sees me for nearly a split second. And I take advantage of her pathing coming out of fog of war. You see how all of my plays are made from places and positions where the enemy can't see me? From bushes here, to the Lee Sin fight over here, to the play I was trying to make over here. From coming out of fog of war really fast with my movement speed, flashing onto the Ahri, knowing I could commit my combo and perfectly execute it. I pull the trigger. Q auto E. Q auto D E nearly kills her. All I need now is one R, one E, and that will finish her off. R lands her. She's 300 HP left. 1 E, boom, she's dead. Now we're in a different position, a more favorable one, where we can take the 5v4 instead of a 5v5. Especially taking out a really strong target too. The Ari is a menace when it comes to team fighting, because she can take people out of position. Luckily, I dodged the arrow. Cho'Gath tanks it for me. I go back out of vision, and I'm trying to reposition myself in a way where I can look onto another priority target. Unfortunately, my Kled and my Katarina, they do not want to contest this dragon. I don't say anything against it. It's not the worst idea, considering it's only the third dragon. It's not Dragon Soul. Instead, they opt for pushing in the top lane and the mid lane. I don't mind this play as long as they're getting value. If I had known that, I would not have actually blown my flash on the Ahri. I would have just disengaged. Me killing Ahri doesn't change anything. It would only change this fight here if we decided to 5v5. I see Poppy and Ashe here in the mid lane. They're trying to take control, trying to take vision control. Expect wards to be in this lane. Just like the ward that we had over here earlier, where I used to play a vision over this raptor wall. The enemy team's going to be doing the same thing, trying to find angles of attack and trying to find picks on us. Me and Kled are waiting out in Fog of War. I see Kled commit in. I see my team together. Unfortunately, Poppy, she stops me from queuing onto the Ashe over here with her W. In hindsight, I don't think I would have reached the Ashe anyways. So even though she canceled my Q, it's okay. Finding this play on the Poppy is really nice. My team is here. They're all positioned, ready for a fight. That is why this is a good Kled ulti. I commend him for it. Malphite lands a nice 4-man ult knockup. However, it doesn't really do anything. Katarina looks for the play onto the Poppy. She finishes her off. Now we're in that 5v4 position, or 5v3 position, because Ahri is dead from this play down here earlier. Let's see how we take the rest of the fight. I'm low HP, but remember, the same thing applies last time. I got my blast shield, which now is a 293 shield. And my Eclipse is now a 260 shield. So you see, as you get more AD in this build, it not only makes you stronger and more deadly on killing priority targets, but it also makes you a lot more tankier, because it scales with AD. Your blast shield scales with AD oh, actually I'm wrong. I'm sorry. It scales with your maximum HP. I stand corrected. It doesn't scale with your AD. However, getting more levels and more experience is a result of this shield getting higher. I believe the Eclipse though does scale with AD, as it was 220 before and now it's 260. Yes. So I'm still looking to play from Fog of War. I don't see any opportunities, and I don't want to risk dying here. I don't have my GA up yet, so I can't take many risky plays yet. I continue clearing my Gromp. I'm close to getting like my level 15. I have my blue buff coming up, and I believe this will give me level 15, so I just wait for it really quickly. Get my blue. Ashe ults me here, so I must be on vision. Luckily, the speed of the bush helps me escape. Let's look. Did she blind hit that arrow? I don't know. Let me look again. How does she see me here?
Rapid fire. Engage.
Oh, I see. She used the blue trinket. She spots me out on my blue buff and then immediately ults. But I escape. Okay. I was kind of confused because I didn't think they had vision over here. But luckily I escape regardless. I'm very close to level 15. I need one more camp and I get it. Unfortunately, my Kled, for some reason, decides to take my red buff. I'm not exactly sure why. But it's okay, like, I can't control what he does. I pick up my Dirk, looking to get that Edge of Nights. It's going to really help me be even more, tanky. And it's going to make me have some more survivability with the spell shield that it gives me. I see Ashe alone here. I see their team all the way down here. So I go for this play. I Q out of screen. All I need to do is land R. Even if she has R here, even if she has flash here, she still dies. I got in range of R. One Q would do it. My Q is 1 second. Q, R to get in range. Smite. I actually cancel my auto attack E. That's bad of me. Like, this could have been much cleaner. However, my Q is coming back up in like 0.1 second. Q auto E, she's dead. Now, the only reason why I could go for this play is because I saw the enemy bot lane, the enemy team on this side of the map. I Q out of Fog of War again. I am constantly abusing the enemy team by staying out of vision. Staying out of vision allows you to go for these very aggressive angles. You need vision of yourself, of the enemy team, and you need to use Fog of War against the enemy team in order to carry on this pick. And this is the way I utilize this pick and try to make it work in higher elo. I see 4 people here. However, they can't siege well as a team without minions tanking for them. Minions are more than just little guys that run right at the inhibitor tower. Minions block skill shots, they block abilities, they do a lot for the enemy team. If they don't have a minion wave, it's very hard to siege without them. So, I'm back here, forcing the enemy team. They have to come to me, because I'm gonna kill their minion wave. Watch this. I kill their minion wave, use it. Now the entire team reacts to me. I see them on vision. I go back into Fog of War. Let's see what they do when I go into Fog of War. Watch this. They all go do something else. They're like, oh, she's gone now. You see? They should have kept chasing me here. But now, they're just like la-dee-da in my jungle because they don't have information on me. And this is the power of using Fog of War to your advantage. Now, I'm waiting here in the bush, making sure I'm not spotted, positioning myself in a way that I can cause havoc on their enemy team. I'm forcing them to spread apart. Their team is very, very strong together. They have the Poppy, they have the Malphite, they have the Lee Sin, they have the Ahri. They have all these tools for team fighting, and I'm not allowing them to have the fight that they want to have. If I can spread them apart, I can win the game. Lee Sin is going for this next wave. I see Lee Sin, I see Ahri. I cancel my recall, and I stay in their enemy backline. And guess what? Ashe just respawned, and this red buff is spawning. And I still see the enemy team, 4 people here. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the red buff. Maybe Ashe comes. I see the arrow. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Misses. They ping me. I see Ashe. Look at this. Again. Again. No minion wave. I killed the minion wave again, forcing the enemy team to answer me. They get the inhib, but that's all they can get. They don't have a ranged AD carry to siege with them. They're pinging me. My teammates are pinging me. I see the ward. I don't even finish it because I don't know where the enemy team is, and being on vision is very dangerous. I canceled my auto attack, unluckily. And when I see the Lee Sin recall, I finally regroup with my team. Now this is soul. This is a soul point for the enemy team. I have level 17 now. I can get my last item. My GA is up. And look what I go for. Look what I go for. Instead of going for Edge of Night, to be safe, I opt for a Serpent's Fang. And there's a reason for that. On their team, they have lots and lots of shields. So to counteract that, Serpent's Fang, what this item does is it reduces the shield gain from enemies by 50%. It's an insane amount. We have Lee Sin with his W and his Steros gauge. We have Malphite with his passive. We have Ari. I'm pretty sure she gets shielding in some way. I'm not even sure how, but I'm pretty sure like one of her abilities actually it might heal her or something. Let me check really quick. She doesn't get shielding, but she does have healing. However, this is not really mainly for the Ari. We have Ashe with the shield bow, and we have Poppy with her passive shield. So I'm going to be affecting 4 champions with this item. That's why I opt to buy it. It's a very, very important item. That means in team fights, if I hit multiple people, all of their shielding is going to be reduced. So look at their team. Look at all the shields on them. Now the enemy team is pinging, ping, 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 ping. Let's do this dragon. If you're not in the position to play from vision on the dragon, it's very hard to contest it, especially against a team comp like this. So instead, I go and I opt for pushing mid. Remember, my Katarina and my Clyde were doing this earlier. They felt like going for the play here without vision was not good, so they just decided to push mid and top. I'm making the same call here. Last time, I was able to get the pick on the Ari, and that's why I wanted to take the fight. However, this time, I don't see any plays for me to make. The enemy team is always grouped together, and I want to play from Fog of War, not from vision. Lee Sin sees me, and instead of committing to do the dragon that's not up yet, he wants to look for maybe a pick on us. So I respectfully back off. Oh, wow, this is pretty dangerous. I should not have done this. I should have just pathed up here, staying away from this, what's down here, because I don't know what's here. I think that's a misplay in positioning. I could be on vision here, and I could be getting collapsed on, which is very dangerous. See, okay, they don't know where I am, just based off of that Q. However, they do know, well, they see me off this minion wave, but they didn't have an idea where I was just a split second ago. Otherwise, these shots may have been more accurate. They generally know I'm in this area, and I'm trying to apply pressure from the top side of them. However, I feel like I have to play it very safe, because if they do just collapse on me, it's going to be trouble. However, Clyde engages from the front line. Lee Sin's still not committing yet. I don't think he wants to really fight the front line. He wants to look for priority targets. He wants to look for me. I'm also doing the same thing. I'm not looking to fight the front line. I'm looking for priority targets, not to fight the Malphites, not to fight the Poppy. See? He's using his abilities in this direction. He does not want to just fight my front line foolishly. However, I'm respecting that. I'm not committing either. I finally go in. I land the Q on him. I actually mess up my combo. I do QE instead of Q auto E, so he doesn't get the proc off. However, even though I messed up my combo there, I still use my entire kit, making sure that I cause as much disruption as possible. Watch. I ult the low HP target that's more of a priority, the Ari. I have a GA though, so I can go for this play. My team is much closer now. I didn't start the engage. Last time, I tried to go in for the fight first, and I ulted the priority target, and the entire enemy team turned on me. However, this time, the Clyde engaged for me first. All of their attention was forward, and now my allied team is much closer to me. I killed the Ari. They burst me down. However, I apply Serpent's Fang on Poppy. I apply it on Malphite. I apply it on the Lee Sin. All of the targets who actually have shielding. Just huge. I'd go down, but I have my GA, so I don't really die. I can continue the fight afterwards. Xayah gets a nice roots on them, and then Katarina follows up. Now, me, Cho'Gath, and Xayah are focused on making sure this Lee Sin dies, while the Katarina and Clyde continue on. We kill them, get the dragon, and we get Baron too.
You ain't getting away. slain the dragon. Blue team has slain Baron Nashor.
It's crazy. Even after all of this, the enemy team is still ahead in gold. They're still ahead in gold. Just because of how well this Lee Sin was playing. Now, I look to get this tower up here before our
Red
base.
team's turret has been destroyed.
Zai is calling for a bait here. I'm not quite sure what she means by that. I don't want to take any risky plays. Maybe I can get a little cheeky pick here with my ult, because I have ulti. I have to be careful though, I am a little bit low on mana. I'm in this bush waiting to see if I get face checked or anything. I'm at the very edge, so I don't just get thrown. An Ari would most likely throw a charm in the middle to check if someone is there. Malphite, if he's going to ult, I don't know, like ult into this bush randomly, going to try to hit as many areas as possible, so most likely in the middle. That's why I position myself at the edge right here. I see Malphite top lane alone. Okay, I'm thinking maybe someone feels like it's safe here, and I can catch them out. I don't really want to fight Malphite. Malphite is not a target for me, so I kind of just ignore him. It's going to take me too long to kill him here. That's what I mean to say. I don't let the wave push into our side of the map though. We have Baron buff. We want to try to apply the Baron buff in the most lanes as possible. That's how you be efficient with Baron. Get my blue buff. Get that mana regenerating. I see 3 people mid. I'm like, okay, I'm going top lane. We're going to split. We have a 1-3-1 split here. Remember that how I was mentioning this a little bit earlier? Their team is very strong at team fighting. They have lots of CC, and their damage mainly will come from Ashe and Ahri together. And because Lee Sin is also strong with Lee Sin. However, for that team to come to work, they need the CC from their Malphite and their Poppy together. However, if we spread them thin like this, Malphite in the top lane, no one responding to Clan in the bot lane, then they can't really take a fight. If they try to take a fight, my team is not going to commit. They're going to back up, and then me and Kled will continue to push onto their towers. However, you see, me and Kled know when to back off. We don't just continuously push. No, that's a mistake. We see Malphite answer our push, and we see the Ahri answer the Kled push. Then we wait outside of vision. Now that we see them spread apart, we have the favoring fight now. We have the Malphite with me and the Kled with Ahri. While my team is really good together as 3, while their team needs to be really good, needs to be together as 5. I don't want to get collapsed on while my team is not pushing anything, so I just wait in the bush. Kled recalls here, however, I don't agree with that. If he had TP to go back and continue pressuring, that's okay. I don't think it's right, even if he has a really good item to buy here, he should continue pressuring this bot lane. However, the enemy team doesn't know that. He's coming back from base, trying to get back to continue pressuring. We see the enemy team start committing to a fight. However, just like I said, if they do commit to a fight, my team is not going to commit because they know we're short on numbers. They're going to back off. Well, they should back off at least.
Up goes the guy.
Okay, so they get a pick, and then Katarina's maybe looking for something onto the Poppy. She knows her limits, so she went for this play here. However, Cho'Gath is back. Zarya is positioned back as well. I come to join the fight with them. Look at this. Look at this. Malphite ults onto me, and this doesn't accomplish anything. He knows I'm a priority target. He needs his team to do something with me though. With him though, he can't just ult on me and waste his ults and do nothing. His team is not in a position to really follow up on this, so nothing happens. We just walk away.
Keep their heads.
Kled ults right down the middle. He knows 2 people are dead. We could potentially go for a dive. Katarina goes in. She goes into the back line. She goes onto the Lee Sin. I follow up. And we win this game with an 8k gold deficit against a team that's very hard for me.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
And this is how you win games with the lead, even though the rest of your team is behind on carry buy. Hopefully you learned something. I know this is a long video because I had a lot to say. But I had some clients asking me some things about how to win certain specific games like this, so I made this video for them. Thank you for watching. This is Classical Kill, out.